Hello everybody, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and today I get the joy of announcing a brand new programming language. Doesn't happen that often, but today a new language was released to the world. It's called Skip. Now this has been in development for the last 3 years at Facebook. Facebook is no longer actively developing it, but basically gave the lead developer who was working on this project the leeway to release this as an open source project. So we now have a community language. Who knows where this is going to go? Who knows if it is relevant to game development in any way whatsoever? But it's a new programming language. Again, not something that happens all that often, so I figured I'd do a quick video about it. Now, I'm going to be honest here. A lot of the things about this language make me feel pretty stupid. I don't work in the problem domains that this language is setting out to solve, so a lot of the upsides to it sound kind of foreign to me, if I'm honest. Here's the lead developer on it. I'll call him Viju. He says, we just open sourced Skip, a general purpose programming language that tracks side effects to provide caching with reactive invalidation, ergonomic, don't know why that would be a word, and safe parallelism and efficient garbage collection. Now, about 3/4 of that I understand. Basically, it can track to see if data changes and if it's still valid. It's got parallelism built in, so you can have lots of multiple threads, thread safety, etc. And it's got a garbage collection built in. Exactly what reactive invalidation and ergonomic mean? I know what the word ergonomic means, I just don't understand what it means in the context of a programming language. But anyways, you can head on over to Skip and learn a whole lot more about the purpose behind this language. To be honest, even then, I have a little bit of trouble understanding exactly what the language is all about. If you would be so kind as to tell me in the comments down below what efficient memoization-based caching is, I would love you for it. I have no idea what that means. But this is another programming language. It compiles to Skip is statically compiled ahead of time using LLVM to provide highly optimized executable, caching with reactive invalidation, safe parallelism, efficient and predictive garbage collection, hybrid functional and object-oriented language approach, great developer experience, including IDE plugins. We'll look at those in a second when we get to the code. That basically, due to the rapid iteration speed more commonly associated with dynamic languages, tells you when you have an error pretty much as soon as you type it. And it was built by a team of veterans at Facebook that previously contributed to languages such as ActionScript, C#, Flow, Hack, HHVM, Prettier, React Native, and Relay. Again, a lot of languages in a realm that I don't really work in, which is why a lot of the upsides to this I personally can't explain to you. Is this a good language for game development? No idea. Is this a good language for creating a server? No idea. Is this a good language in general? No idea. If you're getting the trend here yet, I'm mostly just sharing what's out there. I haven't had any hands-on time with this, but if you are interested in grabbing it and playing around with it, there's a couple of options here. First off, the lowest option, or the easiest option, is to basically run into their playground. As you can see here, you write your code, and you can run it and see the results in real time, in theory, somewhere. Oh my god, that is taking a long time. But again, this is literally just launching today, so it might be a little slow to run. But there you see the end result of the code typed over here. If you look at that code, I look at that and say, oh my god, that looks a lot like Kotlin. But truth of the matter is, almost all modern programming languages are starting to look awfully similar to each other. Not really sure what these are for. Is this a cross-compile? Does it turn it into JavaScript? We shall see in, I don't know, a couple seconds. Yeah, so it does compile down to JavaScript. So that's kind of handy. In terms of, let's head on back over to the Skip website. If you want to download it, it is downloadable as a Docker package. So basically you can just download the tool set and start playing with it. The documentation is online. So you can see here basically a hello world. The entire idea behind this documentation is to introduce you to the language, not introduce you to programming. So you should have prior programming experience. So you can see the various different attributes of the language over here, the details of going through them. There's a couple videos to introduce you to the Skip programming language. And then there's also documentation on the standard lib and what ships with it. As you see, pretty straightforward. So got a fair size standard. Nah, actually that's pretty small if I'm honest. But you got your major containers there, you got your string libraries, type conversion, stuff like that going on. Again, you do have that playground. You can jump in and look at Skip. You can play around with Skip without having to install anything. And where is the download for Skip? It is, as I said, it is available as a Docker package. I think you can get it. Nope, that's not it. Where did I download it? Getting started. Let's head on over to getting started, and then you can grab the Docker image following these instructions. So obviously you have to install Docker, which I actually finally did today. I'm way behind the curve on Docker. And if you've never heard of Docker, basically it's kind of like VM, I think. It's a way of packaging things in an operating system independent manner that can be installed server-side in Docker or VMs, basically. Now, that might be a terrible definition of Docker. Again, it's not really a world I spend too much time in. Now, in terms of skip language itself, it is completely open source. We'll see if a community builds around this. You can head over here. I will, of course, throw the link to the skip homepage and the link to the skip GitHub page down below if you're interested in learning more. And again, you'll see a bit of a description of what skip is all about and kind of a repeat of a lot of what we just saw. And then on top of that, you will find out that the license for this programming language is MIT licensed, which is probably about as liberal as open source licenses get. So that was nice and solid. And then finally, as I mentioned earlier, they have IDE support, but they are talking some pretty low-level IDEs when they're using that term. So basically, they have plugins for Emacs, Vim, and Nuclide. I'm not sure, available in the GitHub repository as well. So if you're using Vim or Emacs, you have the ability to do tight integration directly with the skip language. And as it said earlier, the ability to see if you typed a code error basically as you are typing said error. Okay, not the greatest description of what the language is. Again, it just released today. I don't have a lot of experience with it. I just wanted to share that there's a language out there. It might be exactly what you were looking for. It might just be a new tech toy. I'm slowly finding that programming languages are becoming very, very similar in what they're trying to solve and how they go about solving it. The biggest things today seem to be like parallelization and like I said, when I look at the source code here, especially when we head on over to the documentation or to the playground here, that looks a whole lot like Kotlin to me. But yeah, I haven't dived into it too deep, so I couldn't even tell you the difference between Kotlin and skip, but it's always cool having new toys out there, and so I figured I would share this one with you, even though I'm pretty much a complete idiot about why it exists and what it's capable of, and if it's of any use whatsoever for game developers. But like I said, I'm a language geek. I love this kind of stuff, and I figured that a lot of you do as well, so I figured I'd share this. All right, hope at least one of you found this interesting. So that's the skip programming language. Links, of course, all down below. What do you think? Does it look like Kotlin to you too? Or what language does this look like to you? Are you looking for a language like this? Let me know. Comments down below. All right, talk to you all later. Goodbye.